If you've been stuck on the boss or getting lost halfway through the Ashes of the Dam main quest, this video is going to save you hours. I'm breaking down the entire main quest step by step so you can beat it without dying a bunch of times and beat that boss. Now let's talk about the loadout before we get into the steps of the main quest. For your weapon, I'd suggest an assault rifle or SMG. The Akita shotgun's good. Even an LMG, you're just going to want something with decent range for the boss fight. I would suggest the X9 Maverick assault rifle if you have it. For your attachments, use whatever optic you like. Muzzle, I would say use one of the suppressors to get more salvage throughout the game because you will need that. I'd use the 16 OS density barrel for your barrel. Under barrel, I'd use the lateral precision grip. Rear grip, I'd use the celestial grip. For the stock, I would use the Spectre X guard. In fire mods, I would use the buffer spring. Feel upgrade, I would recommend Ether Shroud. For your lethal equipment, I'd recommend bringing a Molotov or bring in the combat axe if you do have the combat axe unlocked. If not, bring in a Molotov. Tactical, I'd bring in stun grenade as you need it for a step in the main quest. For gobblegums, bring in whatever you want. I use Perkaholic, Hidden Power, Gift Card, Wonder Bar, and Idle Eyes in my first pack. You can also bring in other stuff like Killjoy, Cashback, Power Keg. Power Keg's a really good one for the boss fight because having your field upgrade is huge. Now that your loadout is ready, let's get into the steps for the main quest. First thing you're going to do is head to the server room, melee that, and grab Ted's head. Head to the truck and interact with it so you can fix it to drive it. Hop in the truck and head to the left. We're going to go to Blackwater Lake first. Do not go to the farm. There is a step at Blackwater Lake you can do for the main quest. Once you get to Blackwater Lake, go ahead and do this so you can turn on the power. Once you're inside the cabin, go to the kitchen and interact with this jar of spores so you can pick it up. We're going to need this for another part of the quest. Then make your way over to the farm and go ahead and turn on power at the farm as well. With that jar of spores you got from Blackwater, head to this cow and interact with it. You will place the spores on the cow. You're going to have to go through 2 rounds to get the spores to fully develop on the cow, and this is at farm outside of the fence. While you're waiting those 2 rounds, we could do a couple more steps for the main quest. Now head into the barn at the farm and look up at this zombie right here. His left leg, you're going to want to throw a combat axe at, and it's going to drop his foot. Then you're going to want to have a Molotov and throw it at the foot that dropped on the ground. Now you can go pick up the human bones off the floor. Now if you don't have a combat axe or a Molotov, I will show you where to get them for free on the map. If you are playing with somebody, I would suggest one of you picking up one and the other picking up the other. But if you're solo, I will show you where to get both of them. For the combat axe, head inside the diner at exit 115, go to the kitchen and you will see one sitting right here. And the Molotov will be in Ashwood by the garage sitting right here on this barrel. Now that you know where these are, let's continue with the main quest. Make your way to Ashwood and turn on the power here so you have power on all across the map now. Then go upgrade old Tessie and put Pack-a-Punch on the back of her so you can take Pack-a-Punch everywhere with you. Now when you get to a special round where it's all of the dogs, you're going to want to find one of these saw traps. There's one in the diner at exit 115. There's one at the back of Ashwood by Juggernaut, and there's also one at the farm. It will cost 2,000 to turn it on, but you're going to want to turn it on and let it eliminate all of them. One of them will drop a item called Ravager Eyes. Go ahead and pick that up. I would recommend doing the one at the diner because you're going to want to stay here for a round because a zombie is going to have another item you need and they only drop it at exit 115. Now go ahead and eliminate a bunch of zombies here, and like I said, one of them will drop a freezer key that you need. Head to the back of the diner in this freezer right here you're going to want to interact with and pick up that abomination carcass. With that, head to the garage back at Ashwood and you're going to want to upgrade old Tessie one more time, which will equip old Tessie with the abomination carcass on the front. Now with the abomination on Tessie, you're going to want to drive in the fog and find one of these purple glowing things and shoot your abomination beam at it. The first one you find will drop that Horde Husk chunks. You can find them at any part of the fog, so it doesn't matter which area as long as it's outside in the fog. Now that it's been a couple rounds, head back to the cow and pick up that Widow's Lantern. For this next part, you're going to need Wisp Tea, and you're going to want to head to the tailor's shop inside of Ashwood, and you're going to want to eliminate a zombie near the mirror, and this image will pop up in the mirror. But we're going to need the new wonder weapon for the next part of this, so I'm going to show you how to build one for free. For this next part, you're going to want to head back to the spawn and at least be round 8, I believe, in this container right here on the cliff. Go ahead and shoot it. Eventually, Uber Klaus will pop out. I would suggest having Pack-a-Punch 1 at least, but aim for his shoulder pads. Once you take out both shoulder pads, you will be able to eliminate him easy, but once you do, he will pop out another Klaus that you're going to have to eliminate, which will drop a stabilizer chip that you can go ahead and pick up. Now for this next part, you're going to need 3 stuns, which you can craft at the crafting table for 250 each, or just bring them in with you at the start of the game to save some salvage. Now with the stuns, head to the sheriff office in Ashwood by Voltrade. You're going to see Klaus. You're going to want to install that stabilizer chip that you got earlier. Now head to the left side of the cell and you're going to want to toss all 3 stun grenades off the wall at Klaus. And if you do it correctly, he will start to wake up. Whoever wakes him up will be able to use him right away, but once he wears out, you will be able to call him in for 2000 essence again, and we're going to need him for a few steps of the main quest. Now that you have Klaus, head to the Cosmodrome, head down the stairs and unlock this door right here. Then call Klaus right here in front of this machine. The way you call him in is with your tactical. I use Xbox controller, which is left bumper. I don't know what it is on PC. After he stomps in front of it, head to it, interact with the machine, and then you're going to want to stand in this little red circle. You cannot move for a full minute, so if you're by yourself, I'd suggest having Ether Shroud. If you're with somebody, just have them watch your back. It is not too difficult, but do not move. Once you're done, go ahead and pick up this ether barrel. Make sure you have old Tessie over here because you will not be able to sprint with this. And now we're going to want to head back to Ashwood. You're going to want to park old Tessie right there and head up this zip line. Make your way to the power station and interact with it. You will be able to put the ether barrel, and you're going to have a little lockdown that's going to take about 15 to 20 seconds. Once it's over, go ahead and interact with it and pick it back up. Again, you will not be able to sprint, but now you will be timed, so get back to Old Tessie and head to Blackwater Lake next. Once you get to Blackwater, go to the power station, interact with it again, and you're going to have to fill up the ether. Once it fills up, go ahead and pick it up again, and now we're going to head to the farm. Just hop back in the truck because you are timed. Go to the power station here and put the ether barrel inside this one. Once it's complete, go ahead and interact with it, take it. Now you're going to want to head to the basement under the barn. When you get down here, you will see this box. Go ahead and interact with it, and it's going to put the ether barrel inside of it, and you're going to see all of the circles light up green. Now you're going to want to head to the jump pad and go to Janus Tower Plaza. Once you launch in the air, you're going to see 3 red emblems, one on the barn, one on the house, and one on the tower. Now you're going to need to memorize those 3 emblems, so I'd suggest going back and forth from the plaza to the farm to get them, and take a picture if you can. Pause the game so you remember them. Now that you have all 3 symbols, head back to the basement at the barn and interact with each circle. The cool thing is each circle is going to have its own set of symbols, so you cannot double it on each circle. Just make sure you get each one correct. Once you have all 3, go ahead and interact with the eye. It's going to give you the Necro Fluid Gauntlet, which is the new wonder weapon. And once you pick it up, it is going to put you in a mini lockdown to show you how to use it. Now inside the lockdown, it is going to pop up these green orbs that you're going to have to shoot. You can shoot all of them at once and then hold X to get all your ammo back, but I'm doing one by one, as you can see. I'd suggest if you have somebody with you, have them down here to help you with the zombies, because it does get a little hectic. Now if you fail this step with the circles and the symbols, you can do it again. Once you interact with the thing, it will just give you a little quote like, oh, that sucks. But if you fail the lockdown with that wonder weapon, you will have to go a whole round before you can do it again. Now that you have that wonder weapon, head back to this mirror and you're going to want to shoot it. It is going to pop up a Powder of the Forgotten that you can pick up now. Now with all of that, you're going to want to get to round 16 where the bear first spawns, or if you're past 16, just wait for a bear to spawn, and we're going to need to use Old Tessie for the next part. Once the bear spawns, you're going to want to lower its health very low with your weapon, but do not eliminate it. You're going to want to hop in Old Tessie and use the Abomination Beam to take the bear out. That is right bumper on Xbox controller. Once you do that, the bear will drop the mysterious limb. Go ahead and pick that up. Now you have all the pieces for the serum, and we're going to head over and do that part now. Make your way over to the Cosmodrome. Then you're going to want to head over to Yuri's lab and unlock the door, and in the right corner you will see a chemistry set. Interact with the powder and it's going to pop up this smoke. After a few seconds, you will see a bunch of symbols on the chalkboard. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet to make this easier for your life, because each one of them is a word and you're going to have to interact with each item differently. So I will pop up a cheat sheet and explain how to do it. I would take a second and pause the video here to match the 3 words on your chalkboard up with the words in here. As you can see, each one of them is going to relate to one of the items that you have at your chemistry set. You're only going to need 3 of them, as you only have 3 words, so just find out the 3 that you have. Now you're going to have to go in order from top, middle to bottom for the words that you have. I would write them down if you can, because you're going to have to interact with each item in that order. As you can see, my words are mushroom, mysterious limb, and human bone. Now I'm going to interact with the mushroom for me, the mysterious limb, and the human bone. And if you do it correctly, it will give you the add blood interaction. If you do it incorrectly, you'll just have to go to a new round, but go ahead, interact with it, and then it's going to do a little cutscene. Then it's going to put you in a lockdown, and it's going to take your health down to 75 HP, so be very careful. I'd say if you have a teammate with you, have him protect you. If not, have ether shroud, decoys, monkeys, whatever you can use to protect yourself, because you die very quickly if you're by yourself. So even idolize if you have that gobblegum. This lasts about a minute, and if you do it correctly, your screen will fill up with purple fog. If you do not do it correctly, you will just have to go to another round again and try. Now that we're done with that, we need to get 3 different keys outside in the fog, and they're each going to be in a different location, and you need the necro fluid gauntlet to do this. The first one is going to be in the fog outside of Cosmodrome on your way to Ashwood, and there is 3 different areas inside the fog that it can spawn. I'll show you all 3 areas. The first location is at the side of this building right where I'm aiming at and shooting. Just shoot at it, hold X to reload. If the key is there, it will bring down the key for you. The second location is on this tower in the middle of the fog. I would just shoot at it, again hold X to reload, and if it's there, it will bring the key down for you. It was not there for me. This is the area on the tower that you're going to want to shoot and reload it. The third location will be on top of this mountain right outside of Ashwood. Go ahead and shoot where I pinged. If it's there, it will pull the key down for you. As you can see, that's where mine was. Go ahead and interact with it to pick it up, and it's going to give you melee only. When you grab the key, you're going to want to run to Ashwood to the back at Rabbit Alley, and you will see this object. You're going to interact with it to break a chain. The second key you need is going to be from Ashwood to exit 115, and there's 3 different locations for this. First location is going to be this T-Rex skull on the ground. You're going to want to go up to it and shoot the back right of his mouth, then hold X, and if it's there for you, it will pop out the key. As you can see, it's there for me. The second location is going to be in that T-Rex skull on the mountain right there. Shoot all the bottom of his teeth, and once you do that, hold X to reload, and if it's there, it will pull the key for you. The third location is going to be closer to exit 115 in the corner over here by the Project Janus truck. Go ahead, shoot that, reload, and if it's there, it will grab it. I would recommend having old Tessie with you. When you do grab the key, it's going to put your health down to 75 HP. That's why I recommend having Tessie, but go back to Rabbit Alley and interact with the object again to break another chain. The third and final area is from Ashwood to the farm, and it's in the shipwreck. I'll show you the 3 different locations. First location is going to be in this window on the shelf right there. If it's there, go ahead, shoot the shelf, hold X to reload. Second location is right behind in the partially open container on the floor behind the door. The third location is at the bottom of the shipwreck. I would take the truck, park it right here, hop on the truck, then aim in between the 2 barrels right there. Go ahead, shoot it, reload, and if it's there, it will pull the key out for you. Once you do pick up the key, make sure you have old Tessie right next to you, because your movement speed is going to be very slow, so you do need the truck for this one. Drive old Tessie back to the zip line so you can take it up to Rabbit Alley to the object. Once you interact with the object and break the last chain, it's going to start a cutscene. Once the cutscene is over, it's going to spawn in the Wonder Waffle to upgrade Tessie with. Once you pick it up, head to the garage to upgrade old Tessie. Now old Tessie will be fully upgraded, and we're going to have to use the turret for the next few steps in the main quest. We're going to have to shoot that clock that's floating in the sky with Tessie's turret, so make sure it's parked right here. Get inside the turret and then go ahead and shoot the clock, and it's going to turn it purple and stop 3 of the clocks on it. Now you're going to want to use the necrofluid gauntlet to shoot one of the clocks, then you're going to reload. It is going to turn you purple. You're going to have a limited time to do this, so head up to the jump pad right here, and we're going to take it to the Cosmodrome. Once you land, you're going to want to shoot this satellite while you're glowing purple, and it will slow it down. Then you're going to take the jump pad back to Ashwood. Once you're there, you're going to want to shoot a different clock from the first one you shot, and it's going to turn you purple again. Again, we're going to head to the jump pad and head back to the Cosmodrome. Once you get back there, you're going to want to shoot the second satellite that's by the building out here with it again while you're glowing purple, and it will slow both of them. If you do not do this successfully and you stop being purple, you're going to have to go to a new round to restart it. Once you successfully slow both satellites, head to the control room inside the Cosmodrome, and you're going to see a bunch of screens, 2 right here. You're also going to see 3 souls sitting in chairs with a bunch of numbers flashing on the screen above them. Now what you're going to want to do is pay attention to these 2 screens first. It's going to flash a set of 3 different emblems, and it's going to give you a word, and I'll give you the cheat sheet for the words right now. There is 4 different words. The 4 words can be rocket, engine, launch, or weapon. I would pause here if you can and look at this chart right here. Each word is going to have its own set of symbols. They each have 3 different symbols, so go ahead and just let it cycle through on the screens a few times so you can figure out which symbols you have. If you have rocket, if you have engine, launch, or weapon, those are what the symbols are going to look like. Once you figure out which word you have, here is the numbers that correspond with each word. These numbers never change, so don't worry. Find your word and write down the numbers. Now that you have your word in numbers, you're going to want to head over to all the screens with the numbers on them. My word was weapon. Whatever your first number was, you're going to want to shoot the red button on the screen. My first one is 22, so I'm going to go ahead, when it flashes 22, shoot that, it will stay. You're going to want to do this for all 6 numbers across all the screens, but if you do it incorrectly, you're just going to have to progress to a new round to start over, and it will give you a different word, so you're going to have to start completely over with the symbols. But if you do it correctly, your screen is going to flash white. If you head outside, you can even see the rocket take off. Now this next part is kind of tricky, so I would pause your game if you can and take the next couple minutes to listen what I'm going to tell you, because once you start this step, you're only going to have a minute to do it, and there's 3 parts to the step, and if you do not complete all 3 steps in that minute that it gives you, you're going to have to progress 2 rounds to start over. But the only good thing about that is if you get one of the steps complete in that minute, that step will stay complete. If you get 2 in the minute, both of them will stay complete. But pay attention, and if you can do all 3 in one go, if you have people with you, I'd assign different tasks to each of them. This is what makes this step a little tricky. You can see the lightning in the left of my screen. That lightning only spawns every 2 rounds, so if you don't have it right after the rocket launch, just progress a round or 2 to get it. But once you do have it above exit 115, make sure you do not end that round. As I said, it's every 2 rounds, but I'm going to show you the steps that you need to do. I would try to save 1 zombie while you have the lightning, but head back to Ashwood and hop in Old Tessie, and you're going to want to shoot the clock tower again to freeze the clocks, and then if you have people with you, you're going to have one of them take the truck over to exit 115. If you're playing solo, you're going to have to do this multiple times, unfortunately, because it is impossible to do all 3 steps in that minute that it gives you. But go ahead and shoot one of the clocks again. Turn yourself purple again, and you're going to want to go up here and take the launch pad to exit 115 this time. Once you land on the roof, go to this clock, and you're going to want to shoot it while you're glowing purple, and it's going to freeze time. You will see those lightning bolts freeze. The first step is going to be inside the diner, and you need the perk Melee Macchiato to do it, but head to the cash register. You're going to punch it. It's going to shoot out a bunch of orbs into the waitress on the ground. She's going to come to life. Have her follow you to the roof. Her orbs were purple, so we're going to go to the purple lightning on top of the roof of the diner. Once she gets to it, you can go ahead and do the next part, which is going to be here in the mechanic shop. You need Klaus for this next part, and you can buy him right there in the mechanic shop. I would recommend buying him before you freeze time. That way he is ready to go, because he does take a little while to get there. You're going to want to command Klaus to go right in front of the zombie laying on the ground. He will stomp his foot in front of the mechanic, and when he does, you will see the orange orbs go to the mechanic. He will come to life. Now you're going to want to take him to the roof of the mechanic shop. Wait until he gets stuck in his lightning. For the next step, you need Old Tessie at exit 115, and you're going to want to line the truck up with this red trailer right here. Have one of your squad mates bring it if you're playing with people after you shoot the clock in Ashwood. If you're playing solo, I'd shoot the clock in Ashwood, then bring the truck here, then go back to Ashwood with jump pads. What you're going to want to do is shoot the trailer with your abomination beam, which will crack open the doors and boost into it. If you do it correctly, the red orbs will wake him up, and you're going to want to take him to the top of the gas station. let him follow you into his red lightning, and that's all 3 of them. Now if you're playing with 3 or 4 people, assign 1 person to each one, that way you can do it in one go. If you're playing with 2 people, I'd have 1 person do the truck in the mechanic shop and the other person do the diner, because you can do that in one go. But unfortunately, if you're playing solo, like I said, you're going to have to do it multiple times, which means progressing through multiple rounds to get the lightning back. Once all 3 are done, you will hear a little dialogue in the background. That means we can move on to the next part. For the next part, you're going to want to go back to Ashwood and freeze the clock again with the turret if it's still not frozen. Go ahead and turn yourself purple again, and we're going to want to head to the farm, so take the jump pad by Rabbit Alley to go to the farm. When you get to the farm, head inside in the house and look at this clock on the wall. There is 4 different times that the clock can have on it, being 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. As you can see, mine is on 12 o'clock. If you have 12 o'clock, there will be a Roman numeral right here on the floor behind him. If you have 3, stand on this Roman numeral. If you have 6, it's at the end of the table with no Roman numeral. And if you have 9, it's right here on the other side of the table. So whatever one you have, stand on it. When you find where you need to be, he will slowly start to turn his head. Make sure you are still glowing purple. Once he fully turns his head, his eyes will glow red. You're going to want to go ahead and shoot him. It's going to knock his head backwards. Then we're going to head upstairs. We're going to have to find 4 different items. The first one is going to be upstairs on the bed. Interact with it. Second item is going to be in the garage where Pack-a-Punch can spawn. It's going to be on this bench right here. Go ahead, interact with it, pick it up. Third item will be in the barn up the stairs to the left. Go all the way to the back, interact with that to pick it up. Fourth item will be down in the cellar. Just head straight back to the bathtub, interact with the bathtub to pick up the last item. Now head back up top and you will see these red symbols on the ground. Interact with them to place each item. There's one there, there's one there, there's going to be another one right here, and the last one will be over here. Once you have all 4 placed down, with all 4 items placed, you're going to want to interact with all 4 of them pretty quickly. They're not going to make a sound, so just interact with them. You're going to want to do all 4 of them, and once you do all 4, your screen will flash white, and you're going to go into a lockdown for 1 minute and 5 seconds. You're going to have to protect all 4 items, or the zombies can damage them. So if you're playing with some teammates, I'd suggest one of you look at 2, the other one look at another 2. If you have more than 2 people, it makes it easier. But if you're solo, I'd suggest having decoys, monkeys, something to help you, because it's 1 minute and 5 and they do have a health bar. If you fail the lockdown, you'll just have to progress to another round to try it again. But if you successfully do it, we can head to Blackwater Lake for one of the last parts of the main quest before the boss fight. Before we do the next part, head to Blackwater Lake to the dock, interact with this soul, as you will need to do this for the next part to actually work. Then head back to Ashwood, get inside the truck in the turret. You're going to want to shoot the clock again to freeze it. Shoot the clock and reload again so you turn purple. Then we're going to head to the jump pad to go to Blackwater Lake. Once you get there, head inside the cabin and shoot the projector while you are glowing purple, and it's going to flash 4 different pictures on this screen. Make sure you memorize all 4 in the correct order, and it's only going to flash them once, so pay attention. Now your pictures will most likely be in a different order than mine, but each picture will be the same area in the game, so I'm going to show you where each picture is. My first picture was the front of the cabin, and this picture is always going to look the same. Yours might just be 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the slide. My second picture was the boat dock, which looks like this. My third picture was the back of the cabin, which looks like this. And my fourth picture was the tool shed, which looks like this. For the picture in the front of the cabin, you're going to want to head upstairs, and right here you will see a film reel. Go ahead, shoot it, and reload. For the one at the boat dock, head inside, look up on the rafters, you'll see the film reel, shoot it, reload. For the picture at the back of the cabin, head to these stairs, you'll see the film rail right under there. Go ahead, shoot it, reload. For the tool shed picture, head to the tool shed in the back on the shelf, you will see the film rail. Go ahead, shoot it, reload. Now remember, most likely your pictures will be in a different order than mine, so just use the pictures in the areas I show you, but go in the order that your slideshow shows you, because it is not going to be the same as mine, and if it is, you got lucky. Now if you did it correctly, you'll hear a dialogue in the background. If you did not, you will get a jump scare and you will have to go to another round to do it again. Once you complete that, head upstairs to the bedroom, interact with this soul. It is going to open this box up. After that, head down here and purchase Klaus because you are going to need him for this next part. Head back up to the bedroom. You're going to want to call Klaus in front of the box when you can. He will pick the item up out of the box and he's going to head to the dock. He will go stand at the top of the ramp of the dock. Now I would recommend before you go interact with him, getting everything you need, Pack-a-Punch 3, wonder weapons, whatever you need, perks, because once you interact with him, you are going to be put into the boss fight. Well, kind of. You're going to have to do one more step, but you will not be able to do anything else but that step before the boss fight. I would recommend switching out the Necrofluid Gauntlet for a ray gun and pack-a-punching it to PAP 3 if you can, because if you have quick revive on with the augment where you go down and you eliminate a zombie in last stand, it will revive you and keep all your perks, and you can do it 3 times, so that is huge against the boss. I'd recommend you having it and anybody that you're playing with having it. Make sure you have old Tessie at Blackwater Lake with you and make sure it's full health. Now when you're ready and everybody's ready, go ahead and go up to Klaus and interact with him. It is going to cast a vote if you're with anybody else that they need to accept, but once that you accept it, your screen is going to flash white and you are going to have to do one more thing before you get to the boss arena. Once your screen is done flashing white, you're going to see a bunch of souls going around that pyramid. You're going to want to wait until all of them disappear and go across the map. Once they all disappear, you're going to have to drive old Tessie and find all of them. There will be a total of 12 souls that you're going to have to find and run over in old Tessie. You cannot do this any other way. Once you hop in old Tessie, you'll have to follow this route exactly, because if you mess up, you will have to go through another round and do it again. But head from Blackwater to the spawn. You're going to see a soul, run it over. There's going to be 3 in this area, so make sure you run the second one over. Keep driving until you find the third one, run it over, and now we can head to a spawn that we got all 3 of them in there. From the spawn, you're going to want to take the path to the farm. You're going to see another 3 souls in here. Here is one, run that over. There's going to be another one over here that you're going to want to run over right there. Head up a little further and the last soul will be at the end before you actually get into the farm. Now from the farm, head to Ashwood. At the shipwreck, you're going to want to go to the right up the ramp. You're going to see your first soul that you have to run over at the top of the ramp. Make a right, you will see the second one. I miss it, do not miss it, because you will have to back up like I do. The third one is going to be right there. Go ahead and get all 3 of those and then head into Ashwood. When you get to Ashwood, make a hard right. We're going to want to head back to Blackwater Lake, so go that way. You're going to see your first soul right here. Run it over to the left. You're going to see your next soul. Go ahead and run that one over, and you'll see your last one right there. And once you run this one over, it's going to flash white and you're going to be teleported into the boss room for the boss fight. You're going to see this ugly thing come down from the ceiling and it's going to put you in old Tessie automatically, which you have to use for a majority of the fight. Once it puts you in old Tessie, use your boost and ramp up and hit the boss. It is going to do some damage to him. Now you're going to see all these red circles on the ground, which are going to be rockets he's shooting at you. Try to avoid these because they hurt very bad. It's going to be a crazy amount, but do your best. There is going to be spores to heal Tessie all over the map, and they do respawn. Once your boost comes back, you're going to want to ram into him again, and if you have somebody playing with you, you can have them in the turret shooting at him. Keep using your boost to ram into him because you cannot do much damage to him outside of the truck with weapons, so you're going to want to use old Tessie for a majority of this fight. Again, keep your eye out for the red circles on the ground. That's where the rockets are going to land, and that was one of his most dangerous attacks early on. They do a lot of damage, so just try to avoid them your best. After you do enough damage with Tessie, he is going to go immune. This means you cannot boost into him anymore to damage him. He's going to turn into a big Beyblade that spins all around the map. Just watch out because he can pick Tessie up and throw it and do a lot of damage. Just keep in mind you cannot hurt him with weapons, old Tessie, or anything. Make sure you're dodging these rockets again. Make sure you keep driving through the spores to heal Tessie as well. And if Tessie ends up blowing up, unfortunately you're going to have to dodge his rocket attacks if they are out, but I would suggest using like a decoy or monkey or even ether shroud to go repair it. It's going to cost 150 salvage to repair Tessie. Eventually you'll see a purple orb hit the ground in his immune phase. You're going to want to run it over with Tessie before it disappears and the truck will turn purple. You're going to want to boost into him. It's going to take his immune shield away. Get out of the truck and shoot his crit spot underneath him. It will be glowing orange. You do enough damage and he's gonna go back to being immune. Run back to old Tessie as quick as you can, because if it's too far away he will grab it and throw it. But he's gonna become immune again, and you're gonna want to wait for another purple orb on the ground. If you take too long to get to that purple orb, it will disappear, so you're gonna have to wait for another one to be shot out. But when you can, run another one over, and you're going to want to do the same thing and boost into him to take his immune shield away. You're going to want to get out of the truck again and shoot his crit spot until you do enough damage that he becomes immune again. He's going to do this 3 or 4 times, so you're going to have to run these orbs over about 3-4 times, and he'll go into his second phase. Once he gets to his second phase, you'll see that immune shield goes away, and you can take old Tessie and boost back into him. Also, keep an eye out where you see my teammate running. There's going to be max ammo, and on the opposite side of the map there's going to be a max armor that you can get once he enters his second phase, as you can see it up on the ramp over there. He's also going to have these annoying rockets again in his second phase, but he will also have a new move where he shoots a bunch of zombies at you, as you can see him doing right there. But just keep ramming into him with your boost with old Tessie, and you can use the abomination beam too to do a little bit more damage. I would just, as soon as you get your boost back, ram into him. Also remember to keep healing old Tessie, because the least amount of time you spend outside of the truck, the easier this is going to be. Once his health is about halfway down, he's going to go immune again. You're going to have to find the purple beam on the ground again, run it over to turn the truck purple. You're going to want to boost into him again, and then his shields will drop. You're going to want to get out and shoot his crit spot. Same thing as the first phase, you're going to have to do this about 3 to 4 times before he becomes not immune and goes into his phase 3. Eventually you will do enough damage and he will go into phase 3. Run back to the truck as fast as you can. This phase gets a little bit more crazy because he does have a new attack. Same thing with this phase, you're going to want to boost into him as much as you can with dodging the rockets. These rockets are very annoying. His new attack in phase 3 is this beam that he shoots out of his mouth, and it does a lot of damage, so be very careful. That can down you very quick and break old Tessie very quick. If you are fast enough and boost into him while he's charging the beam up, you can stop him every single time before he does shoot the beam. If you happen to be on foot when the beam does go off, I'd hide behind a pillar or whatever you can, because that beam is very dangerous to you as well. It will down you super quick. Another thing you'll have to watch out for on phase 3 is the bears. There will be bears all around the map now since you are on phase 3. This only happens on phase 3, and it only happens if you're playing with somebody. If you're playing with solo, there will be no bears in any of the phases. Eventually, when you do enough damage in this third phase, he will go immune again, and you're going to have to rinse and repeat the steps for him being immune, running into the purple orb, boosting into him, getting out of the truck, and shooting his crit spot. And that is the last time you will do it, because once he is immune for the last time, you will get his health all the way down and beat him in his immunity. That's the full Ashes of the Dam main quest. Hopefully this helps you beat it. I'll be back with more guides soon.